Hello everyone. Welcome to the session Android 101 by Scalar Achievers in their awesome initiative Week of Learning program. I am Saumya Singh, your instructor for today's session. So the agenda for today's session that is say hello to Android development. It will be a complete beginner's guide to getting started to Android development. The agenda is something like I will give a brief introduction of Android development. Then I will discuss why should you learn Android development. What are its scope and job trend in today's market? How can you take this skill of Android development into open source? Like if you want to be an open source contributor, then how this skill of yours can help you. Then I will also discuss the prerequisites, what programming language you should know, what is that software where we build Android applications and all. Right. Then I will finally take a hands-on session of 20 to 30 minutes where we will all build our first Android app. So let's get started. It is a little about me. I am a teaching assistant intern at Coding Blocks, project lead intern at Girl Script, guest mentor at USCEIT for Android development and open source. I have been winner of various hackathons like Smart India Hackathon, Delhi Police Hackathon, some college level and online hackathons. And recently, I was awarded for Women in Open Source Academic Award by Red Hat. I also have been mentor for various open source initiatives like Google Codin, COS program by IIT, etc. So let's get started. Why should you learn Android development? So the first thing is booming job prospects. The stats speak in itself. Every day, around 1.5 million Android devices are activated across the globe, right? So Android development has its own market. This domain is something which will always be evergreen, like job opportunities are always there in this domain. So it is a very good domain to choose as a career. Second thing is, if you have some great idea in your mind and you want to bring that idea into practicality, then this technical field is best. For example, there are successful startups, Ola, Amazon, Flipkart, and the list goes on. So initially they were having a small idea in their mind. They built a very small app, and that's how it all gets started. So if you have any great idea in your mind and you want to implement that practically, so this domain, Android development, is of immense help. Then third thing is freelancing. There is a lot of scope of Android developers in freelancing, and obviously having done various open source projects, I know that if you want to be an open source contributor, then obviously this domain, Android development, is best for you. So what are the tools? What are the prerequisites needed for Android development? Android Studio. I already told you all in the mail that download Android Studio beforehand so that we can make our first Android app in the 20 to 30 minutes hands-on session. Then a device or an emulator to see the app, to run that app which you build using the Android Studio platform. Become a developer, if you are using your Android phone to see the app that you build, then in that case you need to enable some of the options, like in the about phone option. Go in the about phone settings, about phone, and click on build number 7 times, and it will show a toast like this: you are now a developer. Apart from that, you need to go in developer options and enable USB debugging in your phone if you want to run the application that you developed on your own. So new project wizard. So, if you, I assume that some of you would have started, like already downloaded Android Studio. So now let's get started. Follow each and every step that I am doing here. So it will show a screen like this. You have to click on Start a new Android Studio project option. And then in this configure your project screen, here you have to write the name of your application. For now, you can write my first Android app, or you can write, since I will be telling you all how to build an app that generates random number. Right, so you can write here randomizer app. In the package name, if you have to deploy it to Play Store, then you have to give some website. Otherwise, you can leave it as it is. In language, you have to choose Kotlin this time, and then choose empathy activity. Other activities are such activities that have some extra features in them, like bottom navigation activity will show some extra options at the bottom. If you will enter into this domain later on, then you will understand these things. Like if you have to integrate Google Maps, then you will choose Google Maps activity. Then navigation bar activity, many of these activities are there. And this is how your screen will look after clicking next, right? So in this, this is the file where you write your actual code, and the xml file is that file. Let me show you the .xml file. Yeah. So view and enter full screen. Yeah, perfect. So this is the main activity.kt file. This is the place where you have to write the actual code that you are going to implement. And this activity main.xml, this is that file which will tell you the design of your app, how your app should actually look from outside. Let's say you are using Zomato app, then the UI, the front end of that app, all that is designed in the .xml file. And how that suppose there is a button sign up, so what action that sign up button will perform, it is all decided by the code that we write here. Okay, and I will explain each and every folder, what is manifest, what is drawable, everything. So yes, so manifest file, the Android manifest.xml file is a very important file in Android Studio IDE. This file is that file which contain a lot of important information about your app. It is auto-generated. It contain informations like your activity. It contain, activity, fragment, broadcast, receiver. All the important information about these significant components is stored in the Android manifest.xml file. And this is the file where all the permissions are added. Let's say you are building an Android application that uses camera or that uses Google Map, let's say, then you are supposed to write the permission for it. Let me show you. This is the Android manifest.xml file. Yes, if you have to, let's say, integrate camera in your application that you are building, then you are supposed to write android.permission.camera to get the permission to use the camera of your phone, right? So this file is important. It contains information like what your app's icon will be, what will be the name of your app. Like right now we have written my first app, so it can be anything, right? And it is used for changing the theme of your Android app that you are building. That was all about manifest folder. Then where do we write the source code? So we write the source code here in this, here in the Java folder, and then this package name is created, and your source code is written here. If you let's say want to write the code in Java, then it will be dot Java main activity dot Java. If you are going ahead with Kotlin, then it will show something like dot kt. Since we have chosen Kotlin as the language, so it is showing dot kt. Moving ahead, resources folder. Yes, here is the resources folder. See, in this resources folder, all the images that you will be using in your application is stored. Let's say you want to use an image of an orange or something. So all those images are stored in this drawable folder. Layout. How your app will actually look from outside the front end. All those files which decide the layout is stored here in uh, in the layout folder, and the file names are always .xml, are always with the extension .xml. In this .xml files, there are two options here. You can see at the bottom, one is the text option and another is the design option. This is the design option, which shows you how your app will actually look from outside, right? For example, if you will run the app right now, so it will show only one thing, that is hello world at the center. Whenever we start learning anything new, be it any programming language or anything, we have a hello world thing, right? So in the same way, this is hello world app, the default first app of yours. So features of Android Studio. There are some cool features of Android Studio, like it has powerful code editing feature, and it has a rich layout editor, Maven support, and it provides easy access to various Google services and template-based wizards, right? Awesome steps inside the Dakla theme. Obviously, if you are going to build any app that is like a practical app, let's say the online shopping app or something like that, you have to write a lot of code, and obviously that white screen makes easier. So Dakla theme is something which I prefer most. Preview all screens. Yes, if you are building your Android application for for a device which supports landscape view, so all those screen preview are allowed in Android Studio. Color preview, yes, it gives live preview of all the color values that you are going to use in your Android app. Like you can see here, in values we have colors.xml file. So for now, the color primary is this. You can see this color looks like this because not it is not possible for a developer to learn the hexadecimal color code of all the colors, obviously. So it is a very good feature that it shows the color preview to the developer. Yes, if you will write any color here in .xml file, then it will show you the color. Like, let's say I am writing you can write anything like let's say text color, and I see launcher. Let's choose color accent. So this will be the color of hello world right now. You can see here also, right? So this is the feature live preview of all the color values. And then this is a very good feature. It always gives a warning and alert to the developer if the developer is making any mistake, like null pointer exception or any other such mistake, right? And create landscape variation, as I already told you all. Um, if the developer is building the app for tablet or something which supports landscape view, then you can change its preview. You can see the preview, create landscape variation. It gives option to create variant layouts in a single click. And keyboard shortcuts. Yes, there are a lot of keyboard shortcuts that you can learn for a better experience as a developer when you are using Android Studio for building your Android apps. Yes, so open source, yes. How can you use this knowledge, this skill of Android development in open source? So, first of all, what is open source? Because many of you, I assume, would not be knowing that what is open source. The term open source refers to something that people can modify and share because its code, its design is publicly accessible. So I have worked on mostly Android related projects in open source organizations like Sisters Anita Borg, Mifo's organization, and Red Hat's project. And I was a mentor in some programs also. So I have contributed to those projects also, like Google Coding, Girl Script Summer of Code, and COS program by IIT. So these are some contributions of mine to open source world. Who is this for? So let me tell you, open source is for everyone. If you are a college student, if you are a working professional, if you are if you are a school student, that does not matter. The only thing needed is your interest to contribute to open source projects. You can later on use this skill of like if you are an open source contributor, then you can later use this skill to take part in various open source competitions like Google Coding, Girl Script Summer of Code, Google Summer of Code. A lot of open source programs are there, Outreachy and RGSOC. Immense platforms are there which support open source, and various awards for open source contributors are also there. So yeah, I will share a link also with all of you that has list of various opportunities for open source people if you want to go ahead in this. Many of my friends also ask me this question: why should I become an open source contributor? So let me tell you. First thing is learn. If you want to learn anything new, let's say you are an Android developer, you were good in Java or let's say Kotlin, you wanted to shift to Flutter, right? Using open, if you will start contributing to open source projects which are working on Flutter language, you will get much good support from the entire community. You will grasp, you will learn that tech stack which you want in a much faster way. Like if you are enrolling for any online course, it may happen that you get bored and leave the course. But when you are working there in an open source community with thousands, with hundreds of people who are doing the same thing, then you get a motivation to continue that thing, right? Second is practicing skills. Obviously, it helps in practicing a skill when you work on large code bases where hundreds and thousands of people have already contributed, written their code. You get to learn a lot. And I really love contributing to open source project. If you want, if you have any skill, web development, Android development, anything, go ahead, start contributing to open source projects. And also one thing I would like to mention, it is not necessary to be a good coder to become an open source contributor. Like if you are good in designing, documentation, then also you can go ahead and become an open source contributor. It is, the third point is it is good for building portfolio. And fourth point, the open source communities many times give the opportunity of volunteering to its candidates. And it is a way of giving back to the community. There are various open source communities. The best way to find open source community is go on the GSUC website, since it has a good number of open source organizations in it. Here is the website. Just click on organizations, and you will see a lot of open source organizations here. To see which tech stack the organization is using, just click on it. So they are working, Caspin is working on Go, JavaScript language, React, Rust, Python. If you are interested in this organization, go ahead, click on this chat, and you will be directed to either Slack, Zleep, or wherever they discuss their project. All right. So this is the way how you can choose your open source organization to which you want to contribute. And then where to discuss projects. So different open source community has a different platform. Some of them use Gitter or Discord, Slack, and obviously you should know GitHub for becoming an open source contributor. Initiatives, there are plenty of open source initiatives like Google Coding, Google Summer of Code, Outreachy, and for beginners, Hacktoberfest is really an awesome opportunity. There you are supposed to make 4 pull requests, and you are offered with some swags and teas by the Hacktoberfest organizing team. Yeah. What can you contribute with? So there are plenty of ways in which you can contribute to open source projects. You can either implement new features, or you can make some cool UI UX designs or wireframes for the projects which are open source. You can write documentation, testing, or you can be there in an open source community to help others contribute or review the PRs of the candidates. And if you are good enough, then you will be obviously given the opportunity to become a mentor for various open source initiatives. And tools and resources. So for beginners, these are very good resources. How to contribute to open source project, first contributions, open source guide, and GitHub student pack is obviously having a lot of benefit. So this is the time we have to build our own first Android application. All right. So click here and backspace. Let me tell you, there are 2 ways of creating design. Either you can do it by this section, the text section, or you can do by design section. So for now, I will choose this method. Well, these are the views on the left side. You just have to drag and drop these views into onto your screen. And you will see here, this view is created inside the constraint layout. So constraint layout is that layout in which you can adjust the layout in any way, whichever you want. Right, to fix, to constrain your view, let's fix it right and then left. And you can change the text inside your button. Like this time, we can either write roll or go, anything, whatever you want. And always it's good to give some buffer to your design. Like we can give a buffer of 24 SP here. And to the left and right side, you can give either 80, then to the right side also 80. Yes, now it's perfect. After the roll button, we want a select bar. Like if you want the random number to be generated between 0 to 9, so you have to choose that from the seek bar, right? Just click on the seek bar, drag and drop on your screen, and fix its bottom circle to the top of the button, and left to the left, and then right to the right side. This will help us to choose the limit in which we want our random number to be generated. Make its width as mage parent, much better. And then give a buffer again of 24 HP here at the bottom, and then to the sidebars we can give 32 HP, and it's perfect. And the next thing that we need is a text view. So in the text option here, you have to drag the text view onto your screen and fix its bottom to the top of the seek bar, and its left to the left and right to the right. Now we can change, let's drag it here. Yes, we have to change the text inside our text view. We can write select the limit, right? Makes sense. And always it is recommended to choose the ID. Let me tell you what ID is. Here you can see this is ID. Whenever you create any view, let's say you created a button, so its ID is button. We can write role button. Always give a meaningful name to your to the ID of your to the ID of your views that you are going to use, right? And this is the seek bar, and select the limit. Let's increase the size of this text view. It is 14 SP. For now, we can make it 20 SP, and this seems better. Yes. Again, you can give some buffer to this text view also, like or 32 at the bottom, and then to the left and right, although left and right seems good to me for now, so we can leave it as it is also. Then what else do we need? We need a text view that show us the random numbers that are getting generated, right? So drag and drop one more text view and constrain its bottom to the top of the text view, top to the top, and left to the left, and right to the right, right to the right. Perfect. And leave it blank because it will be auto generated by the code that we will write. Its ID should be something like result result text view. Yes, better. And yes, we can change its text size also, since the size of the text, the result text should be something about 1 2 Yes, and it's all done. I think this is the role button. Having the ID, you can see the name of the ID here. Its ID is button. We can keep it either button or we can make it role button, right? Yes. So now it is role button, and this is the seek bar for selecting the limit. And here you will be shown the result. All right. So now main activity.kt. Yes, this is that file where you have to write your actual code. Click content view. This statement, what it does, it links your source code with the .xml file, that is the layout. All right. So let me tell you, in Kotlin, we have two ways of creating variables, var and val. Val is used if you want to create a variable whose value will be never changed. Like it is very much similar to the final keyword in Java. If you know Java, it is very much similar to the final keyword in Java. Var is used for creating those variables whose value can change in the meanwhile during the program run. So what do we need to do? Let's create a variable for our button. Val role button is equal to find view by ID. Since it is a button view, so we will write here button, and then our dot ID dot role button. Here it is. Perfect. And after the role button, we need to create a variable for the seek bar. Seek bar is equal to find view by ID. We will write seek bar here, then r dot ID dot seek bar. Yeah, one more variable for the text view, result text view. Result text view is equal to find view by ID, and this is a text view. R dot ID dot result text view. We have declared all the variables for our views. Now what are we supposed to do? We want some action to be performed. Action on clicking the role button. How will we do this? The variable for our role button is role button. Okay, so write role button dot set on click listener, and in this function, in the set on click listener function, we will write the code that will generate random numbers between the range that the user selects on the seek bar. So again, we will create a variable. Let's name it random number. Random number is equal to, if you want to generate a random number, you are supposed to use the um, random function. Alt enter, and yes, this will import the package. So random dot next int. Yes, and because we want the range of a random number to be according to the seek bar, so we will write seek bar dot progress. Perfect. Now to show the random number that is being generated in the text view, we will write result text view dot text is equal to random number. Since it is an integer, so we will do to a string to convert it into a string. Perfect. Now, if any of you is writing the code along with me, if you will you will click here for running. Actually, in my BIOS setting, the virtualization is not enabled, so I cannot show the screen while running. But yeah, here is how the app will look when you will run the application. Just a minute. Yeah, it has started Gradle building. Yes. So this is how your app should look. When you will click on the roll button, it will generate numbers, random numbers for you here at the center. You can choose the limit according to you with the help of this seek bar. Like for now, you have chosen 8 as the limit, so random numbers will be generated between 0 to 8. In the same way, you can change the limit according to your own will. Like for now, it is 10 as the limit, right? So that was a simple app, the first app that we built on Android Studio. So the aim of building this building this a small first Android project was to help you all know about how the Android Studio IDE looks. So it is all very simple. I think you know now most of these files, the manifest file, where do we write the source code, the resource folder, everything is here on the left side, and you write your actual code in the main activity.kt or main activity.java. In the same way, you can create your portfolio app. That will be also a very easy to use app. And it is very important to always push your code whenever you build some good project. It is important to push that on GitHub, because many of the times the recruiters they look at your GitHub profile as well, right? This is the yeah, this is the location of the project, my first app. This is the project location for like if you want to push your project on GitHub. For that, what you are supposed to do, you have to install Git Bash, or you can also do it with the help of terminal, which is available here in Android Studio. Or I prefer the Git Bash. For doing this, you have to right click Git Bash here, and this shows the location of the file. What you have to do, you have to write git init. This will create an empty repository, right? After this, what you have to do, open your GitHub profile. Let me do it from here. github.com, and it is opening. So open your GitHub profile. This is my GitHub profile. Just a minute. Your profile. So click here at the top right corner, click on the button New Repository. And if you have created this app along with me, this simple app that generates random number, then do this along with me. If you have not created your GitHub profile, just create it. It will take like 2 to 3 minutes. And then, yeah, follow all these tips that I'm showing here. You can write here, I will write my demo app. You can give any name as per your wish. My demo app, and description, I don't know, on private. If you want your code to be private, not visible to everyone, then you can choose this option. Then create repository. And then you have to copy this. Since you have already created a repository, so just copy the first line, which will be better, and paste in the git bash. Right now, to add all your files to the files, you can write git status and then write git add dot. It will add all your files there in the repository, and then write git commit. Then you can give any message you want, my first commit or my code, anything you want. And then, yes, the file is committed successfully. Now you have to write git push origin master. This command will push your complete code, the first Android project that we build right now, on the GitHub profile. Just wait for a while. It is 100%. And yeah, now it's done. Perfect. If you will go here and refresh the browser, yay, now we are done. The My Demo app that we build right now in just 10 to 20 minutes that generates random number for us, that app is now available on the GitHub. All right. So if you are building any good Android app or anything related to that, go and push that on your GitHub profile. That will help the recruiters to know which technology you know, what are the languages you have worked upon, like Dart, Kotlin, CSS, Java. So yes, if you are a developer, then it is a very good option to always push your code on GitHub. And I was talking about a link that tells you about open source opportunities. So that is here in my GitHub profile. In the stars, you can see open source events. So it has month-wise open source events. In February, Step Google is there. So in the year, in the complete year, what open source event or hackathon will be organized, the list is there. If you know any new event, you can add your own also. Like I also even got to know about various new events opportunities from here. And one more thing, this is a sheet. If possible, I will give the link in the chat. This is the sheet which has list of big tech conferences, Android development related conferences, or open source, Angular, all the big tech conferences which are now free because of COVID-19. It is having a list of all them. So yes, you can get it from me. I will share the link in the chat section on YouTube, maybe. Yeah. And yeah. So, yes, we have seen the significance of Android development. We have seen what prerequisites are needed. Many of you would be like, I know Java. How can I learn Kotlin or Flutter or something? So, a lot of resources are provided by Google itself. You can they always post something new about their new content, new opportunity on the Twitter handle of Google. So you can go ahead and follow them to get latest update from them. Recently they launched a 30-day course for the Kotlin enthusiast. Like if you were an Android developer, a Java Android developer, you want to shift to Kotlin, they are providing a very good resource. And you could also search one thing like although Chrome will give better results. I'm searching on it. Google Code Labs for Android developers. It is a free resource and it is something which I like a lot. Yes, Google Code Labs, Google developers, Android developer fundamentals. If you are a beginner, you are willing to get started, then this is really something perfect for you, I should say. It has short code labs with very clear and easy to understand language, Android fundamental. Welcome to the course. They have really a very good documentation of each and everything. You can just follow this, right? So if you are a beginner, this is really something very useful for you. These resources which I have listed here, like Udacity's link is here, developer guide, a lot of useful resources are provided by Google for Android developers. All right, so you can go ahead and check. Yeah, this is a screenshot of the commands that we need to push our code to GitHub. One more thing, right now, what we did, we created a simple app and we pushed it to GitHub. Don't take it as an open source. That is not open source. You make your own project and you pushed it to GitHub. Open source is completely different. Open source is like any project is already available by any open source community or organization, and you go there, you fork that project into your own profile and you start contributing to that project, making pull requests to that project, right? So that is completely different. Pushing your code to GitHub and and contributing to any open source project, they both are two different things. And never stop learning. This was the first app that we will. Okay, we have got various questions also. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Ritik is asking, what if I am a beginner? So, Ritik, as I told you, that a lot of good resources are available for the beginners. The this Google Code Lab by Google developers. This is really for beginners. Like it is in very easy to understand language, and if you will follow this code lab one by one, step by step, you will surely be able to build a cool app like online shopping app or something like that. So you will get a good knowledge of the Kotlin language as well, because in that code lab I guess they have used Kotlin. And yeah, I will always suggest to prefer the resources by Google developers, because they are very brief and good. So yes, Ritik, if you are a beginner, so that is something that I will suggest to you. I want to know more. Ritik is asking, I want to know more on resources on Android development. Yes, they were the resources which I told you right now. Yeah. Um, okay. Is it Tech Champ is asking, is it based on Java? So we have built the app. It was in Kotlin, and it was a very short code. Obviously, because of the time, I choose this small project. Otherwise, we can build something else also, like a portfolio app or an online shopping app, which has its own backend or something like that, right? And Ritik is asking, even if I don't know Java, so my suggestion would be to get yourself familiarized with at least one programming language. If you are like good in if you know C++, you have the OOP concept and everything clear, then you can easily learn Java. The difference is only of the syntax, right? Otherwise, all the programming concept, the for loop, while loop, everything is same. So when I started Android development, let me tell you, I was also a beginner to Java as well as to Android development both, right? But what I did, I started learning Java and almost completely learned that in like 3 to 4 days, and then I started Android development. Android development don't need a knowledge of a good programming language, but it has some concepts of its own. So don't worry if you're a beginner. Everyone is a beginner in the starting. Get started. Try learning. If you will, and this time colleges are shut, so it is the best time to learn anything new, right? And Ritik is saying, I know pretty good Python and C. That's perfect, Ritik. Ritik, then you are ready to go. You can start learning. And Nick is asking, is CodeLab available for Flutter too? So, Nick, I don't know that much, but yeah, few days back, like I also not few days back, like in December or something, I built a project using Flutter. So, if you will like search Google resources for Flutter developer, something like that. So you will get plenty of resources. And few days back also, a big session for the Flutter developer was live. I got to know about that from Twitter. You can check that out. Right. So yes, that's all. And thank Ritik is saying thank you for your answer. Thank you, Ritik. Thank you for joining the session. And any more questions you have, you can ask. Um, yeah, so I hope the session was useful for all of you. I tried to make it very useful, and I put all the things, all the knowledges. Um, Dear session. Thank you so much. If you want to connect to me, you can find me on Twitter, Saumya Singh, on LinkedIn, Saumya Singh, and GitHub, Saumya Singh 1. I did round robin with the number 1. Yeah. Ritik is asking, can I get your GitHub ID? Yes, Ritik, it is Saumya Singh 1. You can see here, Saumya Singh 1. Nick is saying, wait. Yes, do you have any questions, Nick? You can ask. Karan, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Karan. Nick is saying, can you explain me? Yes, what do you want me to explain? Yeah, you can ask the question, whatever you want. More questions you guys can ask. How to manage competitive and development. So, yeah, these are two different things. Like if you want to enter into development field like Android or web, something like that, that is a different domain. This will help you in your career to grasp good jobs, to get into open source, to get into freelancing. On the other hand, if your focus is on only the placements and all of the interview, then in that case, you need to have a good command on DSA, competitive programming, etc. What I did this development. I learned this development and all. Right now, I'm in pre-final. That is my third year. So I learned. All these things, the development things in my second year or first year, you could say. And right now I'm focusing like on DSA and such things. So it completely depends on your time management skills, that how you want to go ahead with that. And it also depends on your interest. Like from the very starting, I was very crazy about building Android applications, those cool apps like Swiggy, Amazon, etc. Those like excites me, and that's why I learn how to build Android app. That seems a very cool domain to me. So I choose that. And Nikhil is asking, like Android development take enough time to build an app with backend? Not that much. If you are a good Android developer, that will not take that much time. You can do it like you can even build a good big project that is going to be practically used by thousands of users in 1 week. Also, that all depends on your capability and all. Neha, good evening, ma'am. Good evening. Yeah. So that's all about today. I hope you all learned a lot. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, thank you so much. Nicholas asked, now you have many more questions. Uh, I am in second year. I know Java and I have how to progress. So, Nikhil, I would say, like do some good projects related to Android, do some good internships in this, build some good projects, and that will add value to your resume. Do some um, You can do internships at some big startups. You can apply for them, and after building some cool projects, after having some good to show in your resume that okay, you were an Android developer, then obviously later on you can shift to other domains also. So it is completely up to your interest, Nick Agrawal. Yeah. Um, Ritik, how can Ritik is asking if I have any doubts, how can I connect with you on LinkedIn? You can find me on LinkedIn. You can ask me there. Um, Shubhangi, can I use Python? For Python, Java, Kotlin, Flutter are the most trending languages. Like native is the Java, and nowadays Flutter is widely used because it is cross-platform, right? So, Milind, I have done front end. I am doing back end. That's great, Milind. So if any of you having more questions, more doubts, then obviously you can ask your doubts to me on LinkedIn. And yes, that's all about today's session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, and bye bye.